Okay, guys, so we start again. So we are beginning a lecture on pandas. So for that, since we are doing all the courses on a hands-on mode, so just go to Google and just type out here Colab, COLAB, right? So when you do Colab, you basically will get this link. Welcome to Collaboratory Google Research. Just click this link. If you are signed in on Google, it will automatically sign in you on Colab also, and see this kind of window will get opened. Right, so just click on the GitHub tab. Right, so you will be logged in with your own account, and in the URL you just need to enter this thing. So in the URL you enter this thing. So let me just share you on the chat box. Chat box is this, right? So you came to Colab, and under Colab you come to GitHub, and in the GitHub you are just entering this URL which I have given you in this. Fine. So you will see something like this: Module 10 Pandas Notebook IPYNB. Module 10 Pandas IPYNB. You can just open this here. So it will take some time to open, right? So now you can see it says notebook.ipynb and the tutorial is basically loaded. You can actually do this through Jupyter Notebook also. If somebody is comfortable with Jupyter, they can use Jupyter Notebook also. But this is the simplest which I felt, because Colab you need not install anything. Fine. Okay, let me just give you one more module. If you have Dropbox, I have put it in the today's lecture, like October 18. And let me just do one more thing. Just 300 KB only, and copy Dropbox link. So what you can do, you can just download this thing, right? You can just click on the link and you will directly be going to Dropbox, right? Just click continue. And this module 10, you can just come and download here. And there will be a download button here. Okay. Okay, I am actually signed in to my Dropbox, so that is the reason. If you open this in incognito, I think you should get an option to, download the files. So you can see here there is an option to download the file. Right? You can just click direct download, and direct download. You can see this module is downloaded, and you can just save it to your desktop or any folder that you wish. Right? So you can see this I have saved here as module 10 pandas. Right, now basically you need to upload these files on the Google Colab. So how do you do that? You just come back to your Colab window, right? This is your Python notebook which has been opened, right? You can write in the chat box if you have any issues. You can see there is a folder icon here, files icon, right? Just click that, right? So you can see there is a tab which opens here, which is files, right? And there is an upload button here, right? So you just click on upload in the first option, and just come to your module 10 which is on the desktop. Module 10, the folder is need not be uploaded. You can just select all the files, right? See, I have selected all the files using my mouse, and just click on open. And it just says a reminder that uploaded files will get deleted when the runtime is recycled. That means when you close this tab, all these files will be deleted. So if you want to save the files, you need to save it manually. So now you can see these files are already uploaded, right? So new purchases, notebook, purchases.csv, and all those things. Fine. I hope everything is clear till here. So it's easy only. I mean, if you have open Colab, you can actually click File, Open Notebook, and in the Open Notebook again you get the same thing. You just come to GitHub and then just enter the URL, right? So that is how you start any GitHub notebook. So now this is some theory which I won't cover. So Python pandas tutorial, just from Wikipedia, you can just see that pandas is derived from the term panel data. Panel data is an economics term, right? That basically just sees for time series and all those things. But okay, let us just forget those things. How does actually Panda help for data analysis? Remember all the machine learning, AI, deep learning and all use pandas, right? So you can see in the popularity of pandas also, right? 1% of all question views on Stack Overflow is pandas itself, just pandas, right? So you can use pandas for a lot of things, but mostly we use it for CSV and Excel processing, right? So let me just start here. So how do you install pandas? You can install pandas using this command pip install pandas. Fine. So now Jupyter Notebook or this Google Colab actually provide you an inline command tool. You can see when you click in the middle, you can just see there is a code here. So when I click on this code button, see I can write a code here. Let's say print hello world, and I can click this play button, right? Or you can see the control enter is coming here. I just click the play button, click on run anyway, and you can see this is a terminal actually in itself, right? I can do anything which I want here. I just printed this thing and it actually came out like this. Again, just come to the center of the page. You can see this code button. I can just add a code. You can do all sort of calculations here, right? You can see 3 plus 5 is 8. You can import modules. Let's say import OS, right? So if you want to see, you can do just print dir and OS. So you can see the list of functions and attributes supported by the OS library are being shown. So it's like a Python interpreter, right? The same way basically you do like this. For example, you start your terminal and you type Python, right? So if I do here 3 plus 5, I will get 8. If I do here print hello, I get hello here. Fine. So you can see this 3 arrows. This basically tells that it's an interpreter. So whatever you will type will be interpreted and given an output. So same this thing, Google provides a Colab, that is Colaboratory, that basically is a command line interpreter. Whatever you will write basically will be executed here itself. Fine. Now we will just execute one by one and understand how pandas actually work. So you can see we will just install pandas first. So you can see it says requirement already satisfied. That means Google Colab previously had the installed version of pandas. So at times there are many packages which are not installed, so you can install them in real time. Real time as in, for example, let me just type a code here. So pip install, I think QR code is a library in Python for generating QR code. So you can see if the library is not installed, it will actually download the library and then it will just install it, and then it says installing collected packages QR code, which is same as what you typed here, and then it says successfully installed QR code version 7.3.1. Fine. So in this case, you can see requirement already satisfied. So pandas is installed and the version of pandas is 1.1.5. Fine. So I hope it's clear till now here. You may ask, why do we give exclamation here? So exclamation is for just that we need to ensure that it goes inline. Inline means it has to be executed there itself. Okay. Now what we will do, the module name is pandas. So first we need to import the pandas module. Just like in C, if you remember, you import the math module, import math.h, basically include math.h. If I tell strictly in terms of C language, it is import math.h. So in Python, as we see, it's a very concise language. Fine. So we can see import pandas as PD. See, because when you import pandas, let's say you don't write this thing. So wherever you will be using pandas function, you will have to write the full form pandas, right? So in order to save some typing, we actually give a pet name. In India, every one of us have a pet name at home, right? Chotu, Motu, Golu, everything. Just like this. So whenever I say PD, I actually mean pandas. Fine. So now what are the core components of pandas? So pandas has two main components. One is series. Okay, you can just double click and edit the text. One is series and one is data frame. They are very similar in nature, but we will just see using an example. So you can remember series is essentially a column. That's it. Column means, for example, you have an Apple column having 3, 2, 0, 1. On the left hand side, this 0, 1, 2, 3, this is just an index. Index means, for example, if I open Excel for you, so this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are just index. These are not your actual data, right? These are just indexes. Similarly here, these are just indexes 0, 1, 2, and 3. Fine. So this is another series. One column is one series. One column means one series. So this is another series, oranges. Now when you combine both series, right, this is column 1, this is column 2, you combine them together as column 1 and column 2. So you can see apple oranges 302307, you can see 0712 and 12 is here. Just like Excel, this is an invisible index that is being governed in pandas. So now when you have more than one column, this no longer remains a series, but it becomes a data frame, right? So you can see there was only one column here, this is series. Again, only one column here, again a series. Now we have more than one column, whether you have two columns or you have 1 billion columns, they entirely fall into the data frame, right? It will be a data frame only. So I hope series and data frames are clear. This is just by the definition, right? So not much use this definition, right? Now you can see how can you create a series manually, right? This is a pictorial representation. Now if you actually want to create this manually, so how can you do that? So you just create a dictionary. Let me just increase the font size so that the appearance is better. So you can see this is my dictionary, how it is, because I have a curly brace here, and on the left hand side I have a key value, and on the right hand side I have value. You can see in this case my value is nothing but a list. But overall this object is a dictionary, right? Key colon value, key colon value, right? For the last value we need not specify the comma. Even if you specify, the interpreter will not throw an error, it is still right, right? So when I do a type of data, it tells me it's a dictionary type of data. Of course, it's a dictionary. Now what you do? So now what you can do is like you can make a data frame out of dictionary. So how do you do that? So you can see I'm using PD here. How I'm able to use PD? Because I did import pandas as PD, right? So I'm using that shortcut here, pd.dataframe. Now this pandas library, right? This pandas module actually, pandas module has a built-in function which is known as data frame. You can see it's a function because it has round parenthesis. It has a function and I am passing data. What is my data? Data is here. And finally, I print purchases. Okay, sorry, I didn't execute this thing because this is dependent, right? First, I need to execute this. You can see 0 second tick. That means it's executed. And now I will run this again. Okay, sorry. Then I did not execute this thing. You can see here it's not executed, so it's not showing the green tick here. Now I executed this, so it is executed. I will execute. This is already executed, and now I execute it again. Right now it's showing a tick. Now you can see purchases is converted into a data frame. See, it's no longer a dictionary. So if you type purchases and press Control Enter to execute, you can see it says the type basically is pandas.core.frame. It's a data frame basically, right? It's no longer a dictionary. Why? Because we converted this dictionary into a data frame object. Fine. So if you want to see, because these kind of notebooks, basically this what we are executing is known as a notebook, right? So by default it will only display the last print unless you specify print explicitly, right? So you can say print purchases is here. Again, please remember this 0, 1, 2, 3 is an invisible index that pandas maintain itself, just like Excel has this 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not the data, this is just indexing that is being used by Excel. Fine. So I hope till here it is clear. right? So basically each key value in the data corresponds to a column, right? So this is first column, orange is second column, right? So index of the data frame was given to us and the numbers, but we could also create our initialize. For example, whenever you create a data frame, right, pandas will automatically assign an index of its own, 0, 1, 2, 3. But if you want to keep your own index, right, for example, if you want to keep A, B, C, D or anything else, you can still keep it. Now how does that work? See, now again the same line I am writing, pd dot data frame. You can see the same line is here, pd dot data frame. The first parameter is same, which is data, and now I can see I'm using the keyword index. So if I hover over index, see it's loading. Some internet issues, or else it should actually load. So in index, it will actually, I am using four names, Sachin, Saurav, Dravid and Lakshman, the Fab4 of Cricket Hour, right? So now you can see the output is Sachin, Saurav, Dravid and Lakshman. Now how did this come? See, we had the index 0, 1, 2 and 3. So how many values were there? A total of 4 values were there, right? Now in the index, I am actually specifying 4 names here, right? So you can see I can just copy this line here. Let me comment out. I can have anything. I can have it A, B, C, D, right? So you can see A, B, C, D, right? If I'm dealing with your class, so for example, I can have even roll number 1901, ME01, right? Let's say EE01. Let's say this is CB01. Anything that is possible. Let's say EE71, something like that. So you can see this is our index. So I can make anything as index, or else by default, pandas will actually give me an index here. So let me just keep the original example. So I have Sachin, Saurabh, Dravid and Lakshman as my index. So index is like the primary key, right? You can refer this value by an index. So now let us see how can we locate a customer order by their name, right? So assume these are the customers who came to a shop to buy oranges and apples. Now if I want to see how many, what was the purchase actually made by Sachin. So you can see our purchases was a data frame. So this purchases basically represents this grid actually, this complete data frame. Now in purchases, if you want to see what did Sachin purchase, what you can do is purchases dot. So there is a function here, which is, it's a property basically, which is the location, right? LOC basically is a shorthand for location. So in the location, you basically say Sachin. Fine. So when you say Sachin, you can see for Sachin, apples are 3 and oranges are 0. You can see apples are 3, oranges are 0. And it says the name. Name basically is the index is Sachin, because we've specified Sachin here. And the data type. So 3 and 0 basically both are integer data types. Right. So you can see how easy it is. So for example, if I want to view for Dravid, I can just do Dravid and just press Control Enter, or I click the play button. So it says 0 and 7. So you can see how easy it is to locate a particular value, right? So you just use the location, right? So class, let us have a break for 5 minutes. It's 12:24. Let us return on 12:29, right? Doubts are welcome. Okay class, so we are back, right? So this is how you access data using a data frame. And now how do you read data, right? So for example, how do you read from a CSV file? So it's very easy in Python, in using pandas. So first let me show you offline how does the purchase.csv actually look like, right? So you can just see purchases.csv. It's the same file that we are talking about, right? See, it's the same CSV file. It's a blank here. This will become our index and these is our data. So how do you read this? So df is equal to pd dot read csv purchase dot csv. So that's easy it is, right? So you just use the function read underscore csv. You can see it has tons of other features also, right? So it's a very powerful library. You can use engine converters, skip initial phase, and there are so many things, right? So the help file is read a comma separated into a data frame. So now you can see this is coming as unnamed 0. Why? Because you can see this was a blank cell. Right? Since it was a blank cell, it came as unnamed 0. And the rest of the file is automatically. Now you can see pandas again provided a default index to it. Why? Because we did not specify what is the index here, right? So you can see in the above case, we specified the index and it took this as index. But if we don't specify the index, pandas will automatically provide an index on its own self. Fine. So let me just execute this. So you can see this data frame. So usually you will see a lot of places df is the variable used that stands for data frame, right? Now what I'm saying here, index is equal to column 0. Now what is this? This is column 0, column 1, column 2 because we begin the numbering from 0. So index equal to column 0 means this will be our index. So now you can see Sachin, Saurav, Dravid, Lakshman which are in bold. So index is always represented into bold letters so that it is easier to identify. Sorry. Right, so this is how you can make index as this column. You can make index any column. See, if I say index equal to column 2, so now you can see oranges has come here because index is always placed in the first column and then followed by unnamed and apples, right? If I keep this as index 1, so apples come here, Sachin and all come here, and oranges come here, right? So right now let us keep indexes as 0, right? So we are setting the index to be 0. Now how do you read a data from a JSON file? Actually, it's not required as of this course, but I will just show you how does a JSON actually look like. JSON is nothing but a dictionary object, right? So you can see here, this is how a JSON file looks like. See, this is the key. And for apples, Sachin is 3, Saurav is 2, Dravid is 0, and Lakshman is 1. For oranges, Sachin is 0, Saurav is 3. If you remember our dictionary writer and dictionary reader, right? We had used a similar syntax here. So that is how it basically goes. But right now I'm skipping JSON because we don't require it. I won't ask any questions in quiz also regarding JSON. Right. So this is how you read a JSON file. Again, I'm skipping SQL. Right. You can even read a SQL file. Right. So it requires a PySQL Lite. Right. So Py is Python, SQL is SQL, and Lite is the lighter version of it. So we are just skipping this as of now, right? And you can see how easy it is to convert back to CSV, JSON, and SQL, right? So what happens, for example, now you have a data frame here. You can see this is our data frame, right? Or if you go above the SQL, let me just minimize this. So this was our data frame, right? Now, if you want to convert data frame to a CSV or a JSON or a SQL, you can see how easy it is. It is just a single line command, df dot to CSV, right? Now you remember why in the assignments I told you not to use pandas, because it just provides one line function and then you don't learn anything new. You directly use a black box function, right? So any data frame to be converted to CSV, directly use the to underscore CSV function, right? Now moving on to some important data frame operations, right? Now this part is important. So now we have a CSV file. You can see this is read CSV, which is imdb movie data.csv, right? imdb movie data.csv. So let me just open this file for you all so you can actually visualize how powerful pandas is. So you can see we have rank, title, genre, description, director, actors, year, runtime, right? Rating, votes, revenue, and metascore. Right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 columns here. Right? In these 12 columns, and we have roughly, let us see how many rows. So we have total 1000 rows because the first row is the header. Right? So first row is the header here. So we have data of 1000 movies. Fine. And now let us see how can we analyze them using pandas so very nicely and easily. Fine. So let me just keep this file open so that you can get an idea about it, so that I can compare you with the Excel as well as the data frame. Right. So now what I'm saying, index column is equal to, I am actually specifying the name of the column. So when I open Excel, let me close this file. So you can see title is in column 2. So what I'm saying here, I'm saying index column is equal to title. So it will search for title and make this as the index column. See, I'm not making rank as the index column, I'm making title as the index column. If you want to make year as the index column, you can keep this as year. Right? So let me just press Control Enter. Right? You can see this CSV is loaded from the left hand side pane that we had done in the last time. Right? Now, how do you weave your data? Right? Weaving the data, so whenever you see you have loaded the CSV using a pandas library into the variable movies underscore df. Right? After loading from here, you can see I'm using a function which is head. How it's a function? Round parenthesis. So I'm saying movies dot head. So basically head, they took it from the Linux. In Linux, you have two commands, head and tail. Head shows the 5 values of top and tail shows the 5 bottom values. For example, when I do head, I actually see this title has become the index, and I see rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first 5 rows, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? These are the first 5 rows. You can see Guardians of Galaxy, Prometheus, Split, Sing, and Suicide Squad. Fine. This is how you get the first 5 rows. And if you want to have, for example, first 10 rows, just specify the number here. Right? So when I specify the number here, I will get 10 rows. Right? You can specify any number. For example, if I do only one here, I will just get the first movie, Guardians of Galaxy. And if you don't specify anything, by default this number is 5. So if it's a blank parameter, the default parameter is 5. Similarly for tail, you can see tail 2 means the last two, 999 and 1000. Just for your satisfaction, I'm showing you. See, 999 is search party and 1000 is 9 lives. This is exactly the same thing. Because we made title as the index, this is being taken as a first column. Right? So now let us see how can we get information about the data, right? As you can see here, we have roughly 11 columns here in this file. Let me just press Control M. See, you have so many columns here, right? 11 columns and 1000 rows. Now, if I want to see head and tail are fine, but if you have 1 million rows, you cannot see line by line what is happening, right? So in this data frame, there is a function which is known as dot info. Right? Now, what does dot info basically do is it gives you a statistical analysis of the data that is there in this data frame. So now basically what it does, info function, it reads the whole CSV, that is 1000 rows and 11 columns, and then comes up with something of this sort. So now you can see it says index 1000 entries. Why 1000 entries? Because you can see in the rank from 1 to 1000, you have 1000 data points, right? The first point is Guardian of Galaxy. Why? Because we made title as the index. Guardian of Galaxy 2, what is the last one? 9 lives. So you can see 2, 9 lives. That is till the end. And it shows that it's a data frame. Of course, because it has more than one column, so it's a data frame. So data columns, it says total 11 columns. So you can see here, when I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 columns here. Right? Till L, we have 11 columns. And now see, for every column from beginning with 0 to 10, it is basically giving me information. For example, rank, it says 1000 are there and it is a non-null. That means when you basically see this rank, it goes from 1 to 1000 and none of the value are null here, right? For example, if I had something like this, so this would become a null value. In that case, it would have said 999 non-null and 1 is null. Fine. Similarly for genre, it says 1000 non-null. So now let me show you for revenue. See, revenue, it says 872 non-null. So now let me come to the revenue column and show you. So see, in revenue column, you can see these blank spaces. You can see these blank spaces. And now let me just sort this from smallest to largest. Right? 0 is here. And now you can see from this column up till the last. Right? You see? So let me just show you. See, this is 873. Right? So 873 has a value 936 and first row is the header. So you will have 872 non-null values. Fine. I hope that point is clear. So this is how you get 872 non-null values. And you see it shows the data type also. See, rank is 1 to 1000, so it's an integer. So string, it shows as an object. So you can see genre or description or director is a name, it is showing as object. Rating is float because it can have a rating of 8.6, 1.2. So let us just see the database here. You can see rating is 8.1, 7, 7.3. So it's a floating value, right? So you understand how nicely pandas gives us the information. So finally it says we have 3 floating data types, we have 4 integer data types, and we have 4 string data types, which is basically it writes as objects. Fine. So now it says the memory usage also, that it took 93 KB of memory to load this file into the memory. Fine. I hope this point is clear. Now next is df.shape. Shape means basically it gives me the dimension, excluding the header row. So see, it says 1000 rows and 11 columns. Again, if you see in this Excel file, you will see there are 1000 data entries. It says 1001, but the first row is the header. So we exclude the header by default. So we say we have 1000 rows of data and 11 columns. Fine. I hope this point is again clear. Now handling duplicate values. Right? Now it may be possible that whenever you are dealing with a large data set, you may actually see that there are some duplicates in your data. Quite possible, right? So those duplicates, how do you remove? Right? So first what we will do, we will add duplicates and then we will remove the duplicates. So see, what I'm doing, I'm making a temporary data frame which is temp underscore df, and what I'm doing, you can see I am appending the same data frame to the same data frame. Already I have this movie database. So basically, you know what I'm doing here? I am doing here like this. I just copy here, come down and I paste it again. Right? So you can see my file will be 2001 rows but 2000 data points. So this is what appending means, right? Adding to its own, right? So now what you can see I'm doing here. So you can see this shape now is 2000 rows and 11 columns because you are appending just below the data frame, right? So now what happens here, you can see there is a function here, drop duplicates, right? Drop duplicates actually will retain one copy and remove all other duplicates. So what does drop duplicate do is, like for example, if you have A, it will remove these duplicates and keep a single A, right? So now you can see I use the function drop duplicates, and when I'm doing the shape now, you can see it is 1000 by 11. Of course, because see in the appending we just copy pasted 1000 values. Now drop duplicates had removed the 1000 values and brought back our original dimension, right? So this is how easy it is to drop duplicates using a pandas library. Now there is an interesting thing which is basically this: in place is equal to true, right? So let me just show you this thing, what happens here, and let me just do temp underscore df dot shape. Acha, temp, I did not execute this, sorry guys, while explaining I forget to execute, right? So this is 2001, the shape is 1001. Oh, shape is not a function, it's a property, so the round bracket will not come, right? So in place, see now when I'm removing the duplicates, right? So there are no more duplicates left. So you have 1011 still that you are explaining, right? So I will tell you what is in place equal to true a bit later, right? So now dot duplicate function has three options: first, last, and false, right? Now what does this do? Let us read the text. First basically means this is a default operation. Drop duplicates except for the first occurrence. Now what does this mean? So I'm just showing you, if you have, let's say, A, and A, right? All three are same values, right? And keep one more A and B. So amongst these duplicate, I can either retain this one or this one or the third one or the fourth one. Now, how should I remove the duplicates? First means drop duplicates except the first occurrence. So you can see here A is there. So these three duplicates will be dropped. That is the default method. Last means drop duplicates except the last occurrence. In this case, what will happen? The first three A's will be removed. Only the last copy will be saved, right? False means any value that is a duplicate will be removed. So in that case, everything will be removed, but B will be retained because B had only a single copy, right? So this is how these three function works, right? So let me just execute this cell. So this is known as basically a cell here. So now let us see what we are doing here. Movies df dot append, right? So I'm appending movies to itself just like the last time. So my shape will become 2000 by 11. Now see what I'm saying, keep is equal to false, right? So this shape, so let me just do a print. See, this shape was 2000 by 11, and now I'm saying keep is equal to false. What was false? Drop all duplicates. So now you can see every movie was repeated twice. So in the case of duplicates, all the rows were deleted and you have only the headers remaining now, right? So usually we hardly use keep equal to false option, right? So we say keep equal to first. Let's say if I do keep equal to first, then you will see this will have 1000 by 11. Oh, it should execute actually. Let me just keep this. Okay, 1000 by 11. I will just check this out what happened here. It should take the keep option. Maybe keep. Acha, so keep equal to first has to be in the uh, quotes actually. So you can see again it has executed now. First or last actually will give the same output because it will remove exactly one duplicate. Fine. Okay class, we will just see column cleanup and then we will close for today. So now there is a property called columns. So you can see you specify the data frame here and just type dot columns. So you basically will get all the columns that are in the file. So let me just open the Excel file for you. So you can see it has rank, title, genre, description, and you can see the same things here also, right? Rank, genre, title because we have made it index, then we have genre, description. Oh, description is pretty long. Column width, right? Description is here. Then we have director, actors, year, runtime minutes, and so on. So this is how the last score is Metascore. You can see the Metascore is here, right? And data type here is object because even if one column is of string type, it basically makes it to an object type, right? Now you can actually rename columns also, right? So for example, how do we use that? For example, this runtime minutes is there. So many times what happens here, when you use the bracket, Python may assume this to be a tuple, right? Because we have the round brackets here. Of course, you can specify raw and use double quotes, but still, for example, if you want to rename a column, the rename function actually helps you. So you can see here, you have the data frame dot rename. And what do you do in rename? You use the columns is equal to, and see, you are specifying a dictionary. This is the original column, runtime minutes. You can see this is the original column, and followed by colon and the new name. So what is the new name I am giving here? I am giving new name as runtime. Similarly, for revenue millions, I am just saying revenue underscore millions. In place equal to true means you actually make change in the original file, right? So whatever the CSV we were loading, you are actually making the changes in real time, right? This is not a temporary data frame. It is actually reflecting into the main data frame. So now let me just execute this. Click here or press Control Enter. Now you can see here, let me just zoom in a bit so that you can see both the cases. So you can see this revenue millions, sorry, runtime minutes have actually become runtime, and revenue millions has actually become revenue underscore million, right? So you can see how easy it is to work with columns also, right? Now, if you want to basically parse column one after the other, just you can use a standard for loop. So you have a data frame here for call in movies. So I am printing column. So you can see it iterates over every column. Now you can see runtime and revenue millions have actually been changed. Why? Because you had placed in place is equal to true, right? Because of in place equal to true, the actual changes have been reflected now throughout the program, right? So now you can again change your column names using a list also. See, you can see now what I'm doing. I'm making all the columns as a lowercase name: rank, genre, description, director, actors, runtime, and all. So see, this is actually too much work, right? If your file has, let's say, 40 columns, then you need to type 40 columns, right? Not a good approach, because Python is a very concise language, provides you with a lot of options. So what you can do, we can just do a list comprehension. See, for call and call movies, right? So this will iterate over all the columns. And what we are doing call dot lower. So this will convert everything to a lowercase. See, in just a one line, you get the same output instead of writing it manually, right? That's it, right? So class, I think this should be enough for today, because I think pandas is a relatively, not I would say tough, but you need to do practice of it. Once you practice this particular thing, you will get a hang of it, okay, how things are working. Class, although tomorrow's lecture we are missing, I will try to record the lecture, right? Because we have only few lectures now left, and pandas is really really very important, right? So let me just write here, begin here, right? So if you don't have doubts, we can close the lecture for today, right? And we will meet tomorrow again. Sorry, tomorrow means the next week we will meet again, right? And let me just save a copy in GitHub. Let me just save my copy. This is Tutes. Okay, I will save it again. Okay, guys. So thank you for today's lecture. We will start on the working on missing values and those things in the next class.